Today, we re-dive into a really complex topic. Why do some people seem to just snap or have a complete change in their personality? It's not a choice. It's a biological response to an overwhelming environment. These aren't character flaws. They're survival mechanisms. It's like having a broken leg that never healed properly. Similarly, unresolved trauma affects how a person interacts with the world. Then, life happens. For someone with a stable foundation, a major life stressor like losing a job, a difficult breakup, or a health scare is tough, but manageable. One moripul, and the whole thing comes crashing down. The person might become withdrawn, intensely paranoid, or behave in ways that seem completely out of character. This is why you can see two siblings grow up in the same house and have vastly different outcomes. Their experiences, perceptions, and biological sensitivities are unique to them. We don't have to be experts to show we care. Healing from deep-seated trauma and a mental health crisis is a long journey. It often requires professional help, like therapy and sometimes medication. It's about building new, healthier coping mechanisms to replace the old survival strategies. It's about learning to feel safe in your own body and in the world again. This process takes courage, time, and a strong support system. There are crisis hotlines and mental health resources you can contact. We'll link some in the description below. Reaching out is a sign of incredible strength, not weakness. So, we've talked about what happens when someone we know struggles in their youth. But what about when we get older? What happens when life throws its toughest challenges at us in our later years? Let's dive into part 2. Imagine this. You've worked your whole life, built a family, and are looking forward to a peaceful retirement. But then, life hits you with a curveball. Maybe it's a sudden health diagnosis, the loss of a lifelong partner, or a financial ruin just when you thought you were secure. These aren't just minor setbacks, they're earthquakes that can shatter the very foundation of your world. For an older person, this kind of late-life crisis can be devastating. Your physical and mental resilience might not be what it once was. The support network you used to rely on might have shrunk. Friends move away, pass on, and children are busy with their own lives. Suddenly, you're facing this monumental struggle, and you feel completely and utterly alone. The world you knew, the future you planned, it all seems to vanish. This overwhelming sense of loss and hopelessness can lead to what some might call going crazy. But it's not madness. It's a profound human reaction to unbearable pain. It can manifest as deep depression, where getting out of bed feels like climbing a mountain. It can look like severe anxiety, where every phone call, every unopened letter, sparks a panic attack. Some people might withdraw completely, cutting themselves off from the world because it's too painful to engage with it anymore. Others might seem to lose their grip on reality, their minds creating a different world to escape the one that's become a nightmare. Memory can become fragmented, and conversations might not make sense to an outsider. This isn't a choice. It's a coping mechanism, a brain trying to protect itself from trauma it can no longer process. Think about someone who loses their spouse of 60 years. That's not just losing a person. It's losing a part of yourself. Their entire daily routine, their sense of identity, their main source of companionship, it's all gone in an instant. The silence in the house becomes deafening. The loneliness is a physical weight. Is it any wonder that their mental health might falter under such a strain? Or consider the person who loses their life savings due to a scam or a market crash right before retirement. The shame, the fear of what the future holds, the feeling of letting their family beneath a crushing burden. They might become paranoid, obsessive, constantly replaying their mistakes. Their personality might change, becoming irritable and distrustful. They're not going crazy. They're drowning in a sea of regret and terror. It's so easy for us to look at an older person exhibiting these behaviors and dismiss them. We might label them as senile, eccentric, or difficult. We might say, "Oh, that's just old age." But we're missing the story. We're ignoring the brutal battle they're fighting inside. We're failing to see the person who is grieving, scared, and desperately in need of compassion. What they really need is not judgment, but understanding. They need someone to sit with them in their pain, to listen without trying to fix it. They need patience when they're confused and reassurance when they're afraid. Small acts of kindness can be a lifeline. A simple visit, a shared cup of tea, helping with a chore, or just being a steady, calm presence can make an immense difference. It's also crucial to connect them with professional help. Therapists who specialize in geriatric care, support groups for grief or financial hardship, and community centers for seniors can provide tools and a sense of belonging. It shows them that they are not a burden and that their well-being still matters. We have to fight the stigma that suggests mental health is only a young person's issue. The story of someone who struggles later in life isn't one of failure or madness. It's a story of human endurance against incredible odds. It is a testament to the strength it takes to face another day when your world has fallen apart. By offering empathy and support, we can help them navigate their new reality. We can't erase their pain, but we can walk alongside them, reminding them that they are still seen, still valued, and still loved. So next time you see an older person who seems lost or is acting in a way you don't understand, pause. Remember, there's a story there, a past filled with its own joys, and a present that might be incredibly difficult. Choose compassion over judgment. Choose to see the person, not just the behavior. Because in the end, a little bit of kindness is what connects us all. Thank you for watching. If you found this perspective helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more content. Take care of each other. Have you ever wondered what flashes before your eyes in your final moments? We often hear about life flashing before our eyes. But what does that really mean? Is it a highlight reel of our happiest moments? Or something much deeper? Maybe even a little darker? Today, we're re-diving into the fascinating and somewhat mysterious psychology behind near-death experiences and the concept of a life review. Let's start with the basics. The life review is a phenomenon where a person rapidly sees their entire life, or significant parts of it, play out like a movie. This isn't just some Hollywood trope. It's a real experience reported by many who have been on the brink of death. Neuroscientists have a few theories about why this happens. One leading idea is that during extreme stress, or when oxygen to the brain is cut off, the brain goes into a sort of overdrive. It releases a cascade of neurochemicals, causing heightened awareness and a flood of memories. Think of your brain as a massive library. All your memories, even the ones you think you've forgotten, are stored on its shelves. In a moment of crisis, the brain doesn't have time to be selective. It just pulls out everything, every book, every chapter, all at once. This can create an incredibly vivid and panoramic recall of your life's events. It's not just seeing, but re-experiencing the emotions tied to those memories. The joy of a childhood birthday, the sting of a first heartbreak, the pride of an achievement. But here's where it gets really interesting. Many people who have experienced this don't just see their life from their own perspective. They see it from the perspective of others they interacted with. Imagine feeling the happiness you brought to a friend, or the hurt your words caused someone else. It's described as a profound moment of empathy and understanding, where you judge your own life, not by what you gained, but by the love you gave and the impact you had on others. This isn't about punishment or divine judgment. Instead, it seems to be a deeply personal and transformative process. It's a chance to understand the full context of your actions and their ripple effects. For those who survive, this experience is often life-altering. They come back with a new perspective, a greater appreciation for relationships, and a decreased fear of death. They often report a renewed sense of purpose, focusing more on compassion, kindness, and connection. So, why would our brains be wired to do this? From an evolutionary standpoint, it's a bit of a puzzle. It doesn't seem to have a direct survival benefit at the moment of death. However, some researchers suggest it might be a byproduct of the brain's final attempt to make sense of its existence. It's the ultimate act of self-reflection, a final summary of a life lived. It's the brain trying to find meaning and closure in its last moments of consciousness. Let's consider the story of Dr. Mary Neal, an orthopedic surgeon who had a near-death experience while kayaking. She was trapped underwater for nearly 30 minutes. During that time, she reported a profound life review. She saw moments from her life, but more importantly, she felt an overwhelming sense of love and interconnectedness. Her experience wasn't about regret, it was about understanding. It completely changed her outlook on life and death, reinforcing her belief in a reality beyond our physical world. The idea of a life review also connects to how our memory works on a daily basis. Have you ever had a song or a smell instantly transport you back to a specific time and place, complete with all the associated feelings? This is called involuntary memory. The life review could be seen as an extreme, all-encompassing version of this, triggered by the brain's ultimate survival crisis. It's also important to touch on the idea of brutal or difficult memories. The user's prompt mentioned a brutal past. The life review isn't always a gentle stroll through pleasant memories. It includes everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Facing our mistakes and the pain we've caused can be incredibly difficult. However, according to reports, this isn't about dwelling on shame. It's about learning and understanding. It's seeing the complete picture of cause and effect, leading to a sense of acceptance and peace. This process seems to strip away the ego. In our daily lives, we often justify our actions or view them through a self-serving lens. The life review appears to offer a moment of pure, unfiltered truth. It's a confrontation with our authentic selves. This can be challenging, but it's also where the deepest growth and understanding come from. So, what can we take away from this? We don't have to wait for a near-death experience to reflect on our lives. We can practice our own form of life review right now. Take a moment each day to think about your interactions. Did you act with kindness? Did you listen with empathy? How did your actions affect those around you? This practice of self-reflection isn't about being hard on yourself. It's about cultivating self-awareness and making conscious choices to live a more compassionate and meaningful life. It's about building a life that, when you look back on it, is filled with love, connection, and positive impact. The stories of near-death experiences remind us that our legacy isn't written in our accomplishments or possessions, but in the hearts of the people we've touched. Ultimately, the phenomenon of the life review suggests that our consciousness is far more complex and mysterious than we can imagine. It points to a deep, intrinsic human need for meaning, connection, and resolution. It teaches us that every moment, every choice, and every interaction matters. They are the threads that weave the tapestry of our lives. So, as you go about your day, think about the story you are writing. Live in a way that you would be proud to rewatch. A story filled not with perfection, but with genuine effort, growth, and a whole lot of love. The final review isn't a test to be feared, but a final, beautiful summary of what it meant to be you. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive today. If you found this topic as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the mysteries of the human mind. Let me know in the comments what you think about the life review phenomenon. I'll see you in the next video. Hey everyone here, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a really heavy topic, but one that I think is incredibly important to talk about. We often see people in our lives, or even on the news, who seem to suddenly snap or go crazy. But have you ever stopped to wonder what might have happened to them before that breaking point? What brutal past might be hiding behind that outburst? It's when your feelings are consistently dismissed. You're told you're too sensitive, overreacting, or making things up. Imagine being in a relationship where your partner subtly belittles your ambitions, mocks your interests, or questions your memory of events. This is a form of emotional abuse known as gaslighting. You lose trust in your own perceptions and feelings. You become isolated, thinking the problem must be you. When someone has been told their reality is wrong for years, Is it any surprise that their connection to reality might eventually fray? They've been living in a distorted world created by someone else. This could be anything from surviving a serious accident, witnessing violence, or experiencing a profound loss. Society often pressures us to be strong, to get over it and move on. So, people bury their pain. It can manifest as chronic anxiety, panic attacks, nightmares, or a constant feeling of being on edge. They're living in a state of high alert, their nervous system perpetually firing as if danger is just around the corner. This constant internal state of emergency is exhausting. It's like trying to run a marathon every single day. Eventually, the system overloads. Another brutal reality is the pressure of carrying everyone else's burdens. Many women are socialized to be caretakers. They're the family peacemaker, the friend who always listens, the reliable colleague who picks up the slack. Their container is being drained, with very little being poured back in. When they finally break, it's often because they have nothing left to give, and the anger and exhaustion they've suppressed for so long comes rushing to the surface. And we can't ignore the impact of systemic issues. Living with chronic discrimination, whether it's based on your gender, race, or sexuality, is a form of continuous trauma. Constantly having to fight for basic respect, opportunity, and safety is mentally and emotionally draining. It creates a baseline of stress and anger that simmers just beneath the surface. It's a battle that never seems to end, and it wears down even the strongest among us. When you're constantly fighting an uphill battle, it's understandable that you might eventually feel overwhelmed with rage or despair. So when we see someone reach their breaking point, what we're likely witnessing is not a sudden descent into madness. When we understand the why behind the what, it changes everything. This simple change in question opens the door to connection rather than condemnation. Do you feel like you're carrying the weight of the world? Do you feel unseen or unheard in your relationships? These are not signs of weakness. They are signals from your mind and body that your container is getting too full. It's a call to action. It's a sign that you need to prioritize your own well-being, set boundaries, and seek support. And this is the most important part. Help is available, and it works. Talking to a therapist or a counselor can provide you with the tools to process trauma, challenge negative thought patterns, and learn healthy coping mechanisms. It is a safe space to finally unpack everything you've been holding inside without fear of judgment. Reaching out is an act of incredible strength, not weakness. It's choosing to build a boat instead of waiting to drown. So, the next time you encounter someone who seems to be losing control, I challenge you to pause, take a breath, and remember the invisible story that might be unfolding. Remember the brutal past they may have endured. Let's try to replace judgment with curiosity and condemnation with compassion. By understanding the journey that leads to the breaking point, we can become a more supportive community for each other. We can be the person who offers a hand, who truly listens, and who helps lighten the load before the container overflows. Thank you so much for listening to this difficult but important conversation today. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.